kind of saying the Hellborn advantage maybe not as strong these days. But Breaky, we're already like 4 picks deep into this thing. Yeah. We've been in here for like 20 seconds. So
they know what they're doing apparently. They know what they want, and again, Team Excellence setting themselves up. They go the Keeper, already a Parasite on tmsR though, so Tempest is left open here. If Excellent wants to go the Tempest Keeper combo, they can here. Now, the downside of that, it maybe takes a little longer to build up than you would like, and it seems like tmsR is already building a very aggressive team. You got Parasite, Monkey King, Empath, so that's what I'm pretty sure Excellent's thinking here of like, okay, it's almost as if they want us to take that combination so that they can take advantage of it. So I'm sure it's still tempting, but that's why I would probably not expect to see a Tempest pickup here, but obviously Ophelia being banned. Rally, Scout, and Dampier also banned. How about that? A lot of respect coming out here for Nox. You know, last game they actually banned Predator, and I know Nox, he does well. He's just a great carry. You know, we made the mention last game of Moon Meander. He's kind of stepping into that carry role, and he's going to be a big name with it, you know, with the Hunter Season 2, I'm sure. But talk about Nox being one of the most staple carry players in the HoN competitive scene, especially with that HoN Tour Season 1 success. You have a Q squad, and it seems like, there you go, they're going to go with Sandwraith, actually, as their carry of choice in the end. So, going the Sandwraith route here, as, okay, so, well, I was trying to think here as far as, so that's their carry option. I don't know what I'm saying, B. If you go, I had something I wanted.
I don't know. I'm just like, I'm sitting here like looking at break.
There's a point you're trying to make.
Yeah,
what is
it happens.
No, nothing. Just absolutely nothing.
It absolutely happens. And I do like this pick of Sandwraith. I mean, this is something that they're most likely going to be throwing into that solo short lane. Probably going to be putting Pebbles into a dual lane, I hope, this time. I mean, tmsR in that last game really just not giving Pebbles the kind of start that he'd like to have. Sandwraith, a hero that can really function in kind of that 1v1 or 1v2 situation if you stack him that regen. So excellent. Their strategy seems to be coming together. And like you said, the aggression factor over here on the tmsR team, I'm really, really liking that one. Whether they choose to lane the Empath with Monkey King or not, just having the Parasite and Monkey King together, I really, really like that. I'd like to see maybe something that's going to have a nearly guaranteed gank potential, and by that I mean something like a Bubbles Kelp Field, that every time you use that spell, if nothing goes terribly wrong, you should be able to pick up a kill with that spell. I'd actually like to see that incorporated in here in kind of a solo role for tmsR. We'll see if that one makes it through the second banning phase that they're currently in.
Luna's banned up there, but yeah, there's still 3 more bans in total to go, so still a good chance that it could possibly be banned, but as always, there's plenty of powerful heroes still left open. You got that Lodestone definitely eyeing over there. Seems like he's been taken care of with bans for the most part. There's that Bubbles ban, so not going to get that option here. But I still am eyeing that Lodestone with that said.
Absolutely.
And, thinking that tmsR would be happy with that if that's what it comes down to, of course, in the end. So, thing to note, too, you know, I know for whatever reason, Chad happened to be talking about Salamon and, you know, Angry Testy and the performance he's had on that hero. Salamon is not available in tournament rules, so just to clarify that, Salamon is not available, as well as Artillery, the new Artillery. He is also. Those are the 2 heroes only that are no longer available. So, Torturer and Dark Lady is how it's going to finish. So, banning the Dark Lady, remember back from Game 1, of course, where Moon Meander went a very aggressive yet a very good build in the end and helped lead his team to victory. Not going to deal with that this time around.
No, I'm sure that whatever Moon is playing, though, he will build a very aggressive build, and I'll try to at least lead his team to victory. I mean, that's just kind of his style. But, okay, so a Wild Soul coming out, a hero that we definitely know the power of this hero. Even going back to the previous DreamHack, we saw that these top-tier teams really still love using this hero. But there's just not a lot of teams that are, 1, comfortable, or 2, that just really enjoy using the hero. And it really does require a certain skill set. In this case, you've definitely got both Moon Meander and KZ that are very capable of playing Wild Soul to its full extent. And, well, definitely going to be able to fulfill a very, very nice role, probably in that suicide position.
Yeah, if there is a player to play it still, it is KZ. I mean, KZ has that strong history playing it. Of course, Zai is definitely another big name player that comes to mind, but he knows what he's doing with that hero. Glacius is going to be the response here from Excellent. We don't see a lot of Glacius lately, but it is picked up here. It can be considered carried against Parasite, and yeah, awesome. Love it, love it, love everything about it. Pestilence picked up, and again, This is what I was referring to. You said the idea of it maybe, but this game he will synergize very well with that Monkey King, the swarm effect. Gonna be huge for Slicks. And he got some huge buffs, man. He got some big buffs this last patch, and Moon Meander is gonna try to show that off here in this game. But we'll see if xCet has something to say about that. They did go Master of Arms, by the way, with their final pick. So that's how things are gonna be shaping up. I expect that 2-2-1 to be ran here from the Hellborn side, as far as the Legion team, or the 1-2-1, of course, with the jungle.
Yeah.
Pestilence probably going to be that short lane against that Keeper.
That's actually
I'm looking forward to that.
A match that I think Pestilence is going to do really well in, especially once he hits level 6. And even using a cool avatar. I'm a little bit disappointed that Moon didn't use the new.
Well, not only that, I don't like the skin personally. I actually like the Ladybug or the new one. The new one's actually pretty damn awesome.
The new one is really
Ladybug's
good.
Probably my favorite though.
Actually, yeah, we were taking a look at the new one there with one of the guys that helped design him.
Yeah,
and he was just telling us about the process there and the thoughts going into it. Tony Two Toes, the man, the myth, the legend.
AKA Kobe.
Yeah, S2 Kobe, there you go. But yeah, very cool new avatar coming out for Pestilence there with that cool jab animation. But right now, the Hellborn team are coming into the Legion jungle trying to ward this up and maybe even spot out for a kill. They do have a pretty dang strong level 1 kill potential with that Master of Arms, Glacius, Pebbles, and even the Desert's Curse coming out of Sandwraith. But the Legion team simply a little bit too far back. And one more time, I think Pestilence is going to do pretty well against Keeper.
Yeah, I would assume so, and even more of a reason, especially at that level 6 mark. And yeah, that's something I was just so excited to see Pestilence. But Pestilence is a great hero against a hero like Keeper, and Invis in general. The Storm, of course, detects Invis, or more so, it'll prevent them from going invisible to your team. So that Nature's Veil not going to be as powerful, you could argue, with having an ability like that Swarm to take care of it. But again, the buffs that this hero received, just to go over those real quickly, his Swarm was increased by 3 armor at all levels. So now at max you get minus, or I shouldn't say that, it was actually +1, +2, +3. So, but at level 3, minus 18 armor. That is just absurd, man. Minus 18 armor. At level 3 for a cooldown, that's only 10 seconds and costs 25 mana. Minus 18 armor, and oh, I can see you through Invis on top of that. It's a powerful tool. And look at what they're doing right here, actually. He pulls the creep camp to the Minotaur right here, trying to nullify what Keeper the Force is doing with his creep pull. So very interesting strategy, actually.
Yeah, and I think we actually talked about this maybe last weekend or so, and you hadn't seen a little, really too much, and it's been going around a little bit, but definitely really interesting to see how it actually works right now, as he will drag it back into his lane. I'm surprised he didn't actually take it to one more camp, or at least have Empath take it to additional camp. That's what I've typically seen. But in this case, just kind of having some interesting lane position come out now as a result. But Pestilence will have this push in his favor.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's obviously in favor of him still, so that's what he's ultimately thinking. You see the next creep wave coming right here, so this should work out for the better of Pestilence in the end. Now in the middle lane, we see Pebbles being commented on right there. Wall comes down. Master of Arms turning this around, actually. Monkey King dropping some life even, but he will survive, and the Parasite was coming over trying to get there in time, but seemed like just a little bit too late to the party and couldn't assist. But as we're still focused on this Pestilence, but in the meantime, the middle lane, you do have Empath Monkey King going up against your Master of Arms Pebbles. Definitely a lot of kill potential on either side there. I will say, and the wall from Empath can be a little bit awkward with the Monkey King flinging around and everything. But outside of that, you know, again, they still both have some kill potential. I think the Master of Arms Pebbles, though, their laning presence is probably even a little bit stronger, however. But we'll keep an eye as far as how this lane progresses. Top lane, Glacius, he's trying to be crafty.
He's coming around from the back right there. Wild Soul not in distance to actually attack with Boo Boo Bear, so not able to get any damage done just yet. But I actually think that this early laning stage is really well set up by tmsR. They're doing a great job so far. Parasite, of course, getting his farm on as well. Although it has been blocked at least a little bit, unblocked the primary hard camp over there with the Ward of Sight. And, well, going to be able to get one more here with this last Ward of Sight, so fully unblocking his jungle.
Yeah.
And that's always very nice. I saw Monkey King Illusions up there, and I'm like, what
Well, he's
are you
pulling
doing?
the creep wave, actually, to prevent it. And you see Pebbles, though, at the same time. He actually tanks the next creep wave. So some mind games going on. Now, that hurts Pebbles more because those were illusions, obviously, compared to himself. But he does have the tree still, as well as the bottle deliver. So not the end of the world. It's just good response, honestly. 5 level. And speaking of response, they're going to go into the Monkey King right here. He does have elusive dash. He gets chucked back in, though. He doesn't have mana, actually, for it. Auto attack's not going to be enough, however. He chucked into a position where he couldn't get another auto attack off himself. And Monkey King does survive again, but the aggression continues, and it does seem like Pebbles is having the better time here in the middle lane, by a lot, actually.
Yeah, Empath is actually, she spent very, very little time in that middle lane. Really, really just trying to emphasize the roaming, the stacking that she's been doing a little bit over here. But now, I don't know, Fitsky doesn't seem like he's actually accomplished a whole lot. I mean, he did try to help out with one of those counter wards, and I guess that helps for sure. But as far as direct impact, at least at this point, just stacking a couple camps, and depending on this next spawn, might be able to double pull. Yes, Minotaur plus Wolf should be able to double pull that and eliminate a creep wave to really deny some additional experience to this Keeper of the Forest. So he's going to be able to pull that one here in the next minute or so. But now that he is in position, if he does bring out some dust at all, they can actually get a kill on this Keeper of the Forest as soon as Pestilence hits level 6. He probably doesn't even need dust.
I was going to say, yeah.
Throw that ult on him.
It's level 6. He don't need no dust.
Unless Keeper stays invis for forever.
Yeah, that's true. But I got to think that level 6 is coming up here. And Moon Meander, once again, a phenomenal start for him as far as that creep farm goes. He's already looking at 330 gold per minute, and he has actually a step up above the Sand Wraith. He has 29-17 compared to 25-11. Now, both the lanes are having to deal with quite the constant pulling. Of course, at the top side, you do have a Wild Soul that's been occupying himself up there, and actually, he just finished off some Ancients, it looks like. So, Wild Soul, Kizu, making the best of his time. Again, he knows what he's doing when it comes to that, especially on that hero. Parasite hasn't really been able to do too much yet as far as action goes. He is farming about 220 gold per minute. He's going to allow Monkey King to clean up this yellow camp, though. Again, Monkey King's had a very difficult time in the middle lane so far. So trying to help Slicks get the farm where he can. Now, I want to go back to Pestilence once again. I don't know what honestly we're going to see here from Moon Meander as far as this build, especially with it being Moon. I mean, who knows? But, yeah, Portal Key does seem like well, it's not. Okay, it's not only a Moon build. I mean, obviously, Portal Key's a great item for Pestilence. However, he's not playing him in this. It's going to be interesting to see where he values it, because, yes, you could go for the Portal Key early, and that's making a statement that Sand Wraith is having free farm. We know that this game, you know, we want to take advantage of the earlier game team that we have. So I'm going to get that Portal Key and try to play the aggressive route. Or is it going to go for the more, I want to actually farm here and compete at least earlier on? I could see, in fact, I honestly don't like the Portal Key route the more I'm thinking about it, especially with the start you're having. And you have an aggressive team around you as well. I don't know. We'll see, though. I guess I shouldn't say I don't like it, but
it could set up some potential further aggression, but with the start that Moon's having, combined with the start that Slicks is having, I actually think that maybe actually going for a little bit more of a farm item, allowing Slicks maybe some additional time to try to build back up himself. And Keizu not having that great of a start either, you're not really going to be looking for too many strong pushes as a team. We're going to be relying on Moon Meander as a solo and a carry going into the later stages. So I personally think I don't want to see that Portal Key first item. Picking up something else first, whether that something else is going to be maybe even an Alchemist Bones, but more likely something like a Soul's Bulwark or an Insanitarius.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, you do have a passive hero on your team in that Wild Soul, so that's where you could argue that you want to try to be aggressive around him, so that's where the Portal Key definitely could come in line, but at the same time, farming alongside with him and just kind of going for the game of that Team Excellence, that they're not going to get the aggressive start, could also work. Again, so it's up to Moon Meander. 1,000 gold saved up. We'll see where he goes. Mirage is actually used right there, and it kills Wild Soul in the end. He did porch in the middle, and I wish as a spectator it was a little easier to tell which the real one was when he ports like that. But like all over the place, where the hell is he going to? But yeah, clearly finding Wild Soul and actually gets the bloodless kill with that said.
And I have to say, what set that up was actually a good rotation from Glacius and Master of Arms. Earlier on, about 2 minutes ago, Wild Soul was doing Ancients. They were able to get over there, kill the bear. Then Pebbles was able to kill the bear a second time in that middle lane, about 20 seconds before the kill. Wild Soul, as a result, was trying to deny the tower himself with his hero rather than the bear, and then gets just hit right there by Sandwraith and Pebbles and brought down. So nice job in being able to take care of that. But holy moly, Nox on this Sandwraith at 443 gold per minute, had complete and total unrestricted free farm in this top lane, then able to help get not only that kill, but I believe helped get that tower in the middle lane, didn't get the last hit for it. He is having a really, really good time on Sandwraith, already finishing an Energizer.
Well, yeah, the Bloodlust kill helping big time, but his creep farm is really amplifying too. Bottom lane, we do see Keeper of the Forest. He's not level 6 yet, but he's trying to maybe get in position to set something up here. Doesn't look like that is going to happen, though. Khezu, again on Wild Soul. He obviously got Bloodlusted in the end, but he is out the middle lane right now, so it's kind of interesting what's been happening here. Monkey King has kind of transitioned into jungling a little bit. Wild Soul's taken over the middle lane here for the meantime, so tmsR really trying to find those windows as far as spreading out the farm here and getting it where you can. But not only do you have a Sandwraith, but this game, the Pebbles is getting great farm. He must have bought something. He's only sitting on 760 gold with only boots and a bottle, so he definitely has something. Whether it's Steam Boots finished, I'm actually curious to see what he eventually sends out. But he is on his way to his portal kill, I think. He's going to just go back to base right now, so he'll probably just pick it up here when he goes back to base. But yeah, Sandwraith, man, another 1,000 gold already saved up, and he's pushing the top tower currently. Monkey King jumping in. Desert's Curse comes out, trying to get away, and he will. Not enough damage.
Yep, just going to activate that TP and go home. He's got that Mirage available, so look for maybe some initiation here in the middle lane from Pebbles that did just pick up those Steam Boots from town, had those in his stash. If Pebbles and Glacius are able to set up anything, Sanders will pour it in here, and in fact, they're going to have to play the defense right now, and Slagmite's going to be used defensively, but Pebbles in trouble, going to get stunned out right here. There's the core from Pestilence, doing a lot of damage, but now Pestilence going to be the one in trouble as Pebbles does fall. Sanders did pour it in, trying to run down Monkey King with that Deserted, and the final auto attacks are going to be enough to finish him off.
Impel onto a Sandwraith, though. It's going to slow him down a little bit, but Keeper of the Forest now running in. He has a root good to go if they can get this chase down. Desert's Curse is up. Sandwraith not using it yet, though. Is going to use it? Yes, he will. He will catch Wild Soul right there. The chase is on. Wild Soul damn tanking that ulti for him. Keeper of the Forest again. He has the root, but yeah, not going to be enough. He is so damn slow, you're right. Especially with that Desert's Curse on him, but it is enough to get away. And he will survive in the end. So yeah, both sides definitely having positives there. In the end, though, Monkey King Slicks did fall once again, and first up this game, but coming back now, going to continue to farm. But yeah, Sandwraith also being some more involvement of the 1,200 gold saved up. And he'll go back to the top lane now and pick up farm up there, as he also has a double damage rune he just got. So that's going to help amplify that farm.
Not bad, not bad.
Yeah.
What is he gonna go though?
Well, I see. Again, I'm going back and forth. I think it is going to be the portal key, and the main reason now why I think that is because you do have a Wild Soul and a Monkey King who are also needing to soak up farm. And I think they might transition with that set into he gets the portal key, then he'll allow Monkey King to soak up the farm that he would have been getting instead, and this Wild Soul as well to an extent. So
it's possible, but when you do that, you also run the risk with that portal key. You're always taking a risk whenever you go in and try to get a gank. When you do put all your eggs in one basket, in this case being that Pestilence, and then transition him into a ganker, if you're not able to successfully gank without dying, then you're going to start to fall behind. Every time that he gives up a kill, your team is going to fall further and further behind, but it will be that portal key. Yeah. And going to be interesting to see how effectively Moon's going to be able to use this one, as he kind of looks like he wants to try to set up a kill in the bottom lane. Going to wait for Master of Arms to try to leave, but MOA does hide behind a tree. No, he's going to show himself again.
Well, he does have Parasite coming in, so they want this kill.
Yeah,
they definitely want this kill. There we go. The portal hits both actually with the Impel. Parasite not here just yet. He's running in. Finally, the leech comes out. There's that face cycle. Will kill him in the end. And now the chase is on Keeper of the Forest, but Keeper of the Forest is going to be fine. Obviously, he stole the Defensive Master's call right there.
What a jerk.
With that face yeah, jerk indeed. Coming out by Shams. But yeah, that was the initiation they were looking for. And yeah, exactly, that's what they need. I mean, you pick up a portal key, it's not a farming tool, it is a kill tool, and they use it right off the bat, so well played right there. Yeah, they do get a kill on a Master of Arms.
Nothing wrong with this portal key. You've just got to be able to use it effectively from here on out to get kills without putting yourself into too risky of situations. If you're able to do that, tmsR is going to continue being in a strong point in this game. right now the resource advantage is just a little bit in favor of this Hellborn team. But they've kind of got this window where Pebbles is going to get the portal key in the next minute or so, and then they've got to use their portal key effectively to try to shut down the farmers in Monkey King and Wild Soul, because as we've seen so often, it is so easy to forget about a Wild Soul and just be like,
yep.
Oh, I don't know what he's doing. He's doing Ancients the
Mach.
entire time. Getting a Mock of Brilliance by 20 minutes if you just forget to pay attention to him. And you got to make sure that you're going to use that portal key effectively and that you're going to be able to actually put some pressure out if you are the Hellborn team.
Yeah, and KZ always prioritizes those Ghost Marches, it seems like, on Boo Boo as well. No matter how the game's going, it seems like he will make sure to get Ghost Marchers on Boo Boo. They're not only great for just helping enhance this farm early on in the game on the Boo Boo, but the obviously the move burst in speed, but the most important thing I think is the unit walking effect. Move on the middle lane, Devin, or actually right there, Monkey King gets jumped. Pestilence tries to counter, but he doesn't really counter on much. A lot of illusions were there. He puts a swarm on Pebbles. He is on the run though with that flight. Not taking amp damage, remember, anymore, but it will be enough to fall right there. Smackdown kill coming out on top of it. And that was just failed initiation, really, from TMS. Well, that wasn't even initiation. That was just initiation by Excellent, actually. Yeah. Starting with the Mirage. And the great thing about that ability is not only as you get to port in with it, it also causes a lot of confusion. And I think that definitely happened there. On
it was actually starting with the Pebbles combo directly onto Monkey King, who was already tanking the tower. And it was a nice job. It was just a case of you didn't know that the portal key was coming out right there. You get caught off guard and a big kill. And then Moon PKing in right afterward, trying to save Slicks. That's what I'm talking about. They've put all their eggs in one basket. Moon's the only player farming above 250 GPM on his team right now. And he's only at 300 gold per minute because he has stopped farming when he got this portal key. If he's not going to be able to consistently put out the pressure to allow the rest of his team to get back in, his farm is going to drop off to a point that tmsR's going to start to fall behind here, and Excellent, they've definitely got the momentum right now.
Oh, Pebbles knows Wild Soul somewhere in here. He does have Pestilence nearby, but Pebbles is ready, has a double damage turn. He's going to jump and activates it, and look at Cage as tanky as he is. However, Pestilence, beautiful timing on Moon Meander's part. That was a perfect reaction, really. And it is going to save Wild Soul in the end, the flight chase. So he stutter stepped there. Now he is going back in. He's going to be chucked in the air. Yeah, without that stutter step, that could have very likely been another kill, but he didn't realize that his team was coming in right there, miscommunication coming out. And in the end, they don't get any counter kills either. So resources used and doesn't result in a counter kill. It does save KZ though, at least, so there is some positive.
KZ was so damn tanky in that ultimate form. Yeah. The Desert's Curse actually hit him as Pebbles went in right there, and it still wasn't enough to burst him down. With a double damage Pebbles hit at the end. It was just like, okay, well, he's got those 3 minor totems. Great.
Well, yeah. If Pestilence was a half a second later, though, that would have been a dead Wild Soul. But because he was so quick to react to the portal key, he just felt something was up.
Nice job. Nice reaction by Moon. I mean, there was no ward that was actually in the lane or up on a high ground or anything. That was just good reaction by Moon to be in that lane.
Speaking of Mocker Brilliances, obviously Xandraith also a hero that loves going the Mock, and he is going to have a Sword of High here. Sword of the High here. In the very near future, middle lane in the meantime, there's a jump from Pestilence. Stalagmite still coming out. You got Frozen as well. Gets chucked over to Glacius. Xandraith is not going to be porting in. Keep the force here. Big room coming out. Pestilence going to be locked out. Xandraith though stunned as well. Using the Energizer. Will they be able to pick up Pestilence? No, the flight is just a little too strong. And here we go with Monkey King. He jumps in. Glacius goes down. Keep the force. Also going to be picked up. Oh, Pestilence dies to the Desert's Curse. Well played by Nox right there at the end. And Pebbles comes back in with Master of Arms. Wild Soul dropping fast. Is it going to be enough? Maybe an Entangle proc. Oh, he's barely in run. No Entangles coming out. But Monkey King disorients him, and now they're going to go down. Chuck Boo Boo kills himself, but now Pebbles, he's also in trouble. Going over to the Ancients, that's portal key in 1 second. No, can't get it off in time. Has those Steam Strength boosts. Stalagmites in 1 second. 1 second. There's a Stalagmite, hits both, and the portal key. And Prodex 5 level is going to get away. Oh, man. Crazy fight in the middle lane.
Absolutely wow. A nice buyback from Pebbles there that was actually able to turn that team fight from a pretty big disaster for tmsR, or excuse me, a pretty big disaster for Excellent into something that they were able to recover from. They got the kill on the Moon Meander. They got the kill on the KZU, and that was pretty dang good. I thought at the beginning that they were going to be able to get that kill onto Pestilence. When Keeper of the Forest dropped the root, he actually started to go attack somebody else. I want to say it was the Empath that he started to attack, thinking, okay, you guys have got Pestilence, I'm going to go start working on the next guy, and we rotate. Sometimes that's really good to do because you're going to be able to pick up 2 kills instead of just 1. In this case, they weren't able to pick up that first Pestilence kill, and that actually put them into a really bad situation.
Did give the Legion team a good chance to respond at least. Middle tower invulnerability is going to be denied. No, the Boo Boo Bear just enough. However, Parasite coming in, doesn't have a Codex yet, but he does have his combo. And here we go, Pestilence, a big impel, it's 3 heals right there. Pebbles in a lot of trouble, going for the counter. Mirage is going to be activated by Sandwraith. He is locked down though. Where's the real one? The real one is over here actually. Glacial Downpour doing a lot of damage, but it's finally stopped by that impel. So Moon are doing it well. Good job right there. There was 2 impels in that fight. And actually Keeper of the Forest also picked off in the end. And the chase continues. Master of Arms now getting picked off here. Another impel coming out. But he's going to be a little bit too surviving. No, Monkey King joins in, and with that swarm especially, he just melts to the ground. So big fight there for tmsR. That was huge. A 4-for-0, a 4-for-1 exchange it looks like in the end. Sandwraith, the sole survivor there.
Breaky, I like this portal key pick.
Yeah, how about it, right?
I'm enjoying the portal key pick here. Moonmeander really using it well. I mean, he had a couple times there that were questionable, but these last 2 team fights, he's set up beautiful engagements for his team. This time, able to pick off 4, I believe, in exchange for 1. It looks like Parasite did, in fact, drop at the beginning of that team fight. So definitely a trade that they're willing to take. Keizu able to pick up a Sword of the High, just barely behind the Sandwraith, really. And we're talking about the same Sandwraith that was 450 gold per minute in lane, as opposed to Keizu that was at 130, having to be knocked out of lane and go to farm Ancients. This is the power of having that initiator in Pestilence that's being able to set up those team fights.
Yeah, and again, I just love Pestilence with the fact that he's amplifying not only himself, but his teammates around him with that swarm ability, especially Monkey King, who also 3,200 gold saved up, so Slicks is actually going to be buying a big item here in the near future. He might just go straight into a Shrunken Head, actually, at this rate, but obviously Soul's Bulwark could be something, but with Wild, so probably going to be on him instead when it comes down to it. So we'll see what Slicks does go for. But the Portal Key Shrunken Head combination, it is a great build on a hero like Pestilence. Here we go with the jump here on the bottom lane. Keeper of the Forest, he's going to be jumped. They do have Dust. Okay, the Swarm now comes out, so the minus armor coming into play. Master of Arms on deep in the Master's Call. Not enough to save, however. It could be some counter kills coming out right here. In comes Sandwraith Pestilence, another big impale stun. He's going to start flying away. Look at the Energizer Sandwraith, though, chasing him down. Monkey King is lurking nearby, though. Is Pestilence going to go back in, swarm the impale? No, but Pebbles jumps in, and down goes Pestilence. So that little bit of a stutter step there might have cost him his life in the end.
Yeah, definitely a little bit interesting of a choice, but Moon trying to get away. Not going to happen. In this case, the Hellborn team going to capitalize on this one by taking a tower. Keizu is trying to get one up in the top lane, but the glyph is popped, and there's a lot of things here. Yeah, Master of Arms wanted to get that deny, but it was just not going to happen with that many creeps, the catapult and the Boo Boo Bear all wailing on it. So a nice attempt, but he'll clean up this creep wave instead in the top lane. And I don't know, Breaky, this is a pretty even game right now.
Well, I don't know where you go, and actually Glacius is going to be picked off here by Monkey King. Finds him alone, and that is a Shrunken Head now from Monkey King, by the way. Double damage, of course, helping right there, but I was about to say I don't know where you go here for Nox, but actually now that I'm thinking about it and saying it, the Shrunken Head is always nice, but I think you got to go that Geometer's Bane here, the Firebrand Geometer's Bane, if not anything because of the armor that it applies, but just the Geometer's Bane effect, as well as just amping your damage and your presence and your farm even. So I don't know if a Shrunken Head is going to be the best value here, honestly, for Sandwraith. Again, we keep talking about just the physical presence over here on the Legion side. Now, it will stop the crowd control, obviously, which is a nice part of it, but if you're not mitigating a lot of damage in the process as well, then is it really worth it? He does go the Firebrand, so yeah, I like that choice there from Nox. It might seem like it's a little more ballsy, but again, I completely understand beating this game with the circumstance. Shrunken Head is not going to have the biggest effect that you might want of it, so prioritizing at least your earlier on farm into something like that Firebrand here is what he goes for. So his supporting cast, Pebbles still continues to do a great job. Soul's Bulwark on him, and actually he currently has a set to defense. I was actually going to talk about that too, and I'm pretty sure he's just going to keep it there. You know, this game, they know that they're going up against a lot of physical damage here, of course, so want to bulk themselves up as much as possible.
Oh.
So, guess what? Pebbles found a toy.
Nice pick. They're going to get the counter kill most likely onto Pebbles. The defensive master's call is there, but Pestilence going to be going in. And yeah, they will get it, but Sandwraith going to use the Mirage. Will he port into it? Yes, he will. Desert's Curse could be going out right here, but here comes Monkey King.
Monkey King joining the party. Sandwraith might regret this decision in the end. Impel comes out. Keeper the Force Root, they're going to lock the nail. Sandwraith running away over. Glacial downpour from the side, though. Pass that will fall right there. Monkey King going to shrug it ahead. He does not care about that downpour. He'll finish off Glacius. Keeper the Force running back in. Sandwraith, Desert's Curse. He's thinking about maybe going back in, but in the end, it doesn't look like it. Nox played very passive right there. Moon does buy back, you're right.
They and actually want to try to finish this up. Keeper the Forest is invis right now. And, okay, so Monkey King was just kind of flipping around on the trees that Keeper happened to be running with. And Moon he's still going hard. He's got that flight activated and wants to find a kill, but everybody going to be falling back a little bit too much. Now, with this buyback, you've got to capitalize and take a tower with this. Otherwise, that's going to be a considerable amount of investment of resources that isn't paying off. And unfortunately, there's just no creep wave there, so not going to be able to take a tower at least right away.
Yeah, the buyback not the best choice there for Moomy in the end with that said, but he did use it, and obviously that will stall his Shrunken Head pickup himself a little bit longer as a result of that. So that is unfortunate, but at the same time, I also want to comment on the last fight again, especially with Nox there in the background. He was very timid for most of that fight. It's understandable because there is so much burst, especially in that physical presence coming out here on the Legion side. Like all of a sudden you could just drop before you know it. But he was at about more than half of his life in mana pool for most of that fight, sitting in the background. You know, not sure if he wanted to go in. Whereas teammates seemed like Glacius right there with Glacial Downpour. Keeper the Force was kind of running in. So there's a lot of disagreeing going on there. It seemed like for Team Excellent as a whole. Not sure, but understandably, again, Nox wants to still bulk up more, finish that Geometer's Bane. He is level 16 now, so that will help too. And maybe even get a Demonic Breastplate finished on Pebbles also. Would be nice, although he still is a little bit off of that, especially since he had to use a buyback earlier. But tmsR, obviously recovering now plenty. Mocker Brilliance on him. Monkey King, another 1,900 gold saved up. So yeah, Pestilence, the fact that he got that portal key early on, it definitely set for some aggressive play, which made sense. And now it's building time for both Monkey King and Wild Soul here to really amp up themselves, and it is showing. There's also Codex. What level is that? 3? Codex level 2 here on Parasite.
Yeah,
a lot of
gonna have that burst damage, and I mean, as long as Sandwraith is pretty squishy, even no Mystic Vestments on him right now, Sandwraith is going to do a considerable amount of damage. Or Parasite will do a considerable amount of damage to that Sandwraith, so I really do like that choice to level up the Codex. But like you said, Moon's Farm definitely tapering off here, and gonna need to see this Monkey King and Wild Soul start to carry this game and buy some space for Moon Meander to get back into it. But right now, the Hellborn team, they're not looking to wait around anymore. They're gonna go straight for Congo.
Yeah, you know, I think that was more of the plan with us every team SR, especially going that portal queue first. You don't. He's not building that farm and not want to be, you know, the carry presence later on. He was saying, I'm going to be the initiator now. I'm going to be the aggressive nature player here while you guys step farm now. That's what it comes down to. So Conqueror, though, it is going to fall. They're using quite a bit, including Glacial Downpour right there. But it does get the kill, and Sandwraith now has a token alive. So obviously he's going to be a lot more inclined to be of assistance here in these upcoming fights. And look at that. He goes the Searing Light here instead of into a Geometer's Bane. I don't know. I don't know about that. Geometer's Bane, you know, getting off that Swarm debuff as well as I said, with the more armor you would ultimately get from it because of the agility.
It's definitely debatable whether this was perhaps the better choice of the two. Both of them are, of course, going to work, and he will get the additional movement speed of this now. He's going to get the small dot damage, and he's going to be able to just spam that Desert Curse to farm as he's kind of doing right now. But, yeah, like you said, I mean, he is going to be very, very squishy. He's still sitting on 1,300 HP, and he's going to encounter Monkey King right now. Even with that token of life, you don't want to have to burn that. Keizu going to be coming around with the bear. The Energizer trying to keep him alive for now. First hit root, though. Sandwraith in trouble.
Here we go, and Pelder from Pestilence. He's going to come back up. Pebbles, though, drops off the bat. Here comes Keeper the Force Master Ronzo. Can they keep him alive? Sandwraith's Mirage goes out. Will he port to something? Yes, he does on the Parasite. Parasite goes down right there, and now here's a response from the Hellborn team. They are going to fight them back, it looks like. Pestilence at half-life. He does have that portal key, though. Are they going to maybe try to catch them off guard, go back in? Keizu being chased. Nice wall off right there from Finske. And that will be the end of that. So In the end, Token of Life is burned, and you know, despite Parasite dying right there. Now, the first hit Entangle, that was, you know, RNG working in their favor, but I honestly don't think it would have mattered. He did get initiated by Parasite pretty much at the same time. Granted, it did help keep him in place at that same place, so maybe it did actually matter in the long run. But in the end, he does come back up with the token, and you know, is still able to get back to farm with that said. But tmsR, they got to be happy at least they burned through a token right there.
Yeah, definitely. Otherwise, they would have been able to use that token to probably clear out at least a couple of towers, if not all 3 of these Tier 2 towers, which would have given map control. We talked once again about Pebbles, Monkey King, Pestilence, and Wild Soul that all need some time to farm. They all need some space in that jungle and the Ancients. If you're taking out those Tier 2 towers and opening up the map, you're not going to have space for all 3 of those heroes to get their farm on. So the longer that this Legion team can retain the map control and retain the space for farming, the happier they're going to be. Right now, they're putting the aggression on a Sandwraith, though. No token this time, as Sandwraith will be taken out by Monkey King and Pestilence.
I mean, you just see how vulnerable he is.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, again, the Mocker Brilliance, you can even start looking in hindsight on that, the Mocker Brilliance, and whether or not that was the best investment. As great as that is an item on Sandwraith, it does encourage more of a, you know, I am fairly squishy. Obviously, it provides nothing when it comes to that, just simply the damage and the Mock effect. I'm not saying it was a bad pickup here, but, you know, again, it's kind of just a hindsight thing. It's going to Searing Light. He is squishy. 1,400 life pool, and is sitting at 15.2 armor, which isn't bad, but when you're dealing against a hero that can minus 18 armor you with 1 ability, and coming up very shortly, it's not great at the same time. So Wild Soul is going to help push this top tower. It's going to fall right there. But yeah, we definitely saw how quickly they can burst down that Sandwraith with that physical presence they have. So excellent. As great of a game Nox has been having when it comes to farm, it's understandable that, and I'm sure they feel that, okay, this is still going to be a very difficult game to win for what we have to deal with here. And tmsR, both Monkey King and Wild Soul, they are continuing to grow as we progress on top of it. So, and then you hit off the Pestilence presence with that Shrunken Head now.
Yeah, I'm starting to get a little bit worried here for the Hellborn team. The Legion is doing a great job of generating pressure. And in fact, Skeleton King Parasite is going to find Glacius Codex to finish him off. And Glacius calling he's going to be back someday. That's not right now, but Charge Shot is going to go off and stun Parasite. Mirage from Sandwraith is going to be going in right here. Parasite inside of the Ice Ogre, Fire Ogre, going to be trying to get away there and does successfully make his escape.
You could kind of tell Nox was not on the same page of it there as Bassus.
Yeah.
Bassus was charging in. Nox was sitting back like, I don't really want to go in, dude. And he ended up charging it like he did. He actually used his Desert's Curse from very far away, and then he ended up porting in after the fact. And especially without Pebbles being there, especially without Keeper being there.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just a very ballsy, aggressive move there from Excellent. So they're honestly even a little lucky tmsR didn't turn that around even when it came down to it. So ballsy play. It doesn't really cost them too much in the end, though, other than that ultimate cooldown from Sandwraith. It's not the longest, however, of course, so only about 30 seconds now remaining.
Yeah, I love that it's 80 seconds now. Yeah. Instead of 120 seconds or even 160 seconds at one point at all levels, down to 80 seconds at level 3. Really, really cool. And just one of the reasons that we do see Sandwraith a lot more often now than we did, say, 5 or 6 months ago. But speaking of this Legion team and how much bigger they are getting, the Shrunken Head finished up there on Moon Meander as well. So both of them going to be running around in those team fights impervious to the slows and stuns, and just be able to put out so much damage. Meanwhile, the Boo Boo Bear getting real close to that demonic like you were talking about.
Yeah, and I honestly have kind of forgot about this empath. Not that he hasn't been doing anything, but
yeah,
there's an empath over here on the Legion side too that you have to worry about. The fact that she's going to be jumping in this Monkey King most likely when we come to those fights and helping him out. As actually, speaking of Monkey King, he finishes his own Geometer's Bane right there. When it comes down to it, Dawnbringer is finished by Nox. Again, though, I don't know. I don't know about that. I think the Geometer's Bane would have been a better option. And
if you're going to go for the Searing Light, you got to finish the Dawnbringer, in my opinion. In this case, you got to get that slow, which is going to enable him to run people down. The increased movement speed and then the tanky presence that Ice Brand is going to bring to the table. I agree with you.
Yeah,
I think
if you go the Searing Light, sure.
Yeah. You got to finish it in that case. But he is still farming very well. I mean, at this pace, he could be finishing the Shrunken Head in the next 3 or 4 minutes. which would definitely be something to be very
Again,
excited
I
about.
don't think that's what you go
yeah,
for. I think if anything, you prioritize a wing bow here. You prioritize a behemoth. You need to somehow get some defensive mechanism
probably true.
that's good against what they're bringing to the table with the physical damage. Shrunken Head, as we talked about earlier, it's always a great item, but there's so much physical presence here on the Legion team. It's not going to do as much as you're hoping it for in the end. So behemoth to wing bow is what I really would love to see prioritized instead on Sand Wraith. But again, he goes a full Dawnbringer, so he has okay Lifeful now, as he said, especially with him going to Searing Light, it's fine there, but he is still going to be able to be dropped fairly quickly here, especially if he gets that Swarm on him. And it seems like Mumian has been pretty on top of making sure at least that happens, as well as getting off good initiation.
You're not going anywhere.
This continues to be my concern here with Nox here on the Sand Wraith. Still farming it, phenomenal, man. 518 gold per minute and counting.
Nox is he's nothing if not a damn good farmer. I mean, part of Q Squad for the longest time there, and just always putting up the big numbers on the farm. I mean, I have distinct memories of 800 gold per minute Dark Lady games that just absolutely crushing the other team. I'm talking fully capped out heroes by the 30-minute mark, level 25, and well, Nox can do it right now. Not farming that well, but 522 definitely pretty dang strong, and it's really going to be about where you can allocate that farm from here on out. The Legion team, they're starting to get a little bit ballsy, though. Pebbles is invis in the front lines in this bottom lane, and they really would like to maybe try to take a fight. Sand Wraith, of course, split pushing the top lane, has that Mirage available. He's going to be able to get involved in this team fight at a moment's notice.
Wildsel currently has the Mocker Brilliance on himself. He's had a lot of time here to put it back on a Booby. He still hasn't yet, though, so I'm kind of curious about that. If he honestly has almost forgotten, or if he actually has another plan in mind here. But Booby is in the front lines. There we go, the initiation. Pebbles going to be the target of choice. And look at how fast Pebbles is going to start dropping. Defense Master Call comes out. The Root comes out as well. And Pebbles is actually still alive somehow. Sand Wraith in the meantime, where is he? He is chasing Parasite this whole time. He will get him killed, but the rest of his team is not with him, and now he is on the run. The Swarm is up, so they know exactly where he is. He is split up from his team again, and he is going to be picked off. Again, he does have a buyback, but somehow he got completely split up from his team, and I think it was because he chased a Parasite so far there.
Yeah.
While his team was busy, in the midst of a big fight elsewhere. And now we see a push going to be coming out here.
Yeah, you really got to question that a little bit, but he also didn't want to get into the middle of that team fight, into the middle of everything that was going on with all those stuns, all that raw physical damage that you were talking about, knowing that he was most likely going to be killed very, very quickly if he got into the middle of that. One Impale with that Swarm T-buff on him could kill him.
Yeah.
And so choosing to try to get the safer pick off and hoping that things go for the best. Monkey King going in and two-shotting Glacius, but there's the buyback on Sand Wraith.
Yes, he is coming back in. Doesn't have the Mirage just yet, but he does have Jezreel's Curse. Going to use that right here with the Energizer. Wall off just in case from Fitske, and tmsR does a fantastic job of getting the hell on out of there. We talk about it. We see it so many times. In that case, a team would feel like they're forced, they're almost like, okay, we're in, so we got to stay here, right? We can't actually fall back. We got to fight this. No, you don't have to. tmsR just did a great example in showing their experience that they knew that, they got the pick, they dove pretty far, but with that buyback, get the hell on out of there, and they accomplished just that. So well played by them right there, and their lead obviously is now going up as a result. Now, granted, the tower is still up at the base, and overall, the stats aren't overwhelming, but as always, it is relative, and it's where those stats lie. Sand Wraith is, again, just continues to do his thing. 520 gold per minute, but it does drop off a lot on his side after him. Meanwhile, you have a Monkey King, a Wild Soul, and then even a Pestilence, who actually has a Shieldbreaker now, so how about that? Moon going the Shieldbreaker route. Says, we're going to minus armor the minus armor on top of the other minus armor. This is minus armorception here.
Negative 24 armor once he fully levels up that shield breaker with the level 3 swarm applied. And I mean, if you take a look,
have a Soul's Borg? Of course they do on Wild Soul, yeah.
Yeah.
Demonic even.
Demonic, yeah. And if you take a look at Sand Wraith with no auras around him, with no armor buffs on him whatsoever, he's going to be at negative 8, 9 armor, something like, or negative 7 armor there.
24, 29 minus armor potential with that demonic breastplate as well. Yeah, that is just insane. Yeah,
it's gonna be pretty out of control. And Monkey King even buying a Slayer right there. So perhaps going to be going that Savage Mace option, knowing that Wingbow is a real possibility for Sandwraith next. The Dawnbow into Wingbow combination, something that a lot of people like. And Pestilence going hard.
Oh, Pebbles portal keyed into him, actually. He is regretting that decision right here, but here we go with Sandwraith. Has it port again? He's going for Parasite. He ports it on the Parasite in the background, and Nox is now by himself. Can he get the TP? Oh, Moonmeander misclicked right there. I think he tried to portal key, but he accidentally hit the Impale first. He never even portal keyed in the process. I don't know if it would have actually landed right on top of Sandwraith or not, but they did miss out on a chance. But Nox is really, really implying on going for that Parasite. Here we see Pestilence missing the Impale Stone once again. Pebbles goes in, but Pebbles just disintegrates. Sandwraith is not here just yet. Glacius goes down, giving the force in the midst of that. He does have a root still. He finally gets it off, but it only hits Monkey King, and Monkey King just Geometer Banes out of it anyway, so not the biggest root right there. Now they do actually kill Empath in the process of Sandwraith, but at what cost? He dives really far again, and he ends up dying right there. So it's just not happening for Team X. It seems like they're just on a different page almost.
Well, I think it's at this point that they had their window. Their window where Sandwraith was going to be very, very strong compared to almost everybody else in the game, when the only item on this Legion team was that portal key. And the Legion team were able to use that portal key efficiently enough to buy time for Monkey King and Boo Boo to get back into this game. They've got their items, and Excellent at this point just they really don't have any room to stand on.
I don't think Nox really gave his team the best chance to win with his item choices, just to be frank. I think the Geometer's Bane into the Wingbow option would have been just much more efficient this game. He chose to kind of stick to his guns. Again, he's known for going that Dawnbringer. He did that here on top of as well, obviously the Mocker Brilliance is fine with that, but then the Dawnbringer choice next, and he hasn't been able to pick up anything since then. He's already had to use a lot of that gold on one buyback, and he's sitting on another 2,000 gold right here. So, yeah, it's just not saying that if he won those items, they would win this game by any means, but yeah, I just don't feel like, unfortunately, he gave his team the best chance to win with the choice that he win here. So, they are down now by 12,000 gold, 5,500 experience. That on top of how it's relative, and of course, going back to what I'm just suggesting there, I don't think you really have much hope left if you're honestly Team Excellent here. You now have a Savage Mace that's going to be coming up very shortly on Monkey King. Wildson just purchased something. Hey, he purchased a Slayer himself, so we could actually be seeing a Doombringer with that set on Monkey King. I think we're going to see Doombringer now.
It's possible. If they're able to take Conqueror, I wouldn't be surprised if they throw a Doombringer on the hero with the token.
Yeah.
And if they're not able to take Conqueror, I think it's going to be an unnecessary risk. Because with that being said, I mean, Sandwraith, if he can get in there without being locked down, he will kill people. And he will kill people very, very quickly. Almost as quickly as Pestilence just killed Glacius.
Yeah, Gore is pretty powerful. Remember, they did change it to physical, so it even takes effect with that -R. I mean, he just basically two-shot that Glacius right there with the Impale Stun. Here we go to Conqueror. He applies a Swerve. Obviously, it doesn't work with the -armor, but it does take away the no-stun effect, if anything. But Monkey King joins the party. He did go the Savage Mace, by the way, so not going to be seeing a Doombringer by any means. Keeper of the Force does have a Resto Stone. He did just purchase a Resto Stone here. Conqueror's going to drop way too fast, so you're not going to stop that. There's a Token of Life. So again, no Doombringer, but the Savage Mace picked up. A Shieldbreaker level 3 finish on Pestilence. Empath also even has the Abyssal Skull here.
She just bought an Energizer as well. Okay. I mean, this team is just getting very, very big. On the other side, Master of Arms gets a Nullifier Blade, but it's just not going to be enough. Look at Boo Boo just absolutely tearing through this defensive tower. Yeah. He is going to get frozen for a few seconds here by that Glacius, and, well, he might die to the tower. Nope, hits the tower first and then dies to the goo.
Yeah, Nullifier Blade, great against Swarm. I mean, it's a huge pickup. It really is for Master of Arms right here. But yeah, it's just a classic case of listed a little bit too late, honestly. 3,700 gold on Nox. Again, I don't know what you go for. I still think that you're going for a Wingbow here, but now you're dealing with most likely what's going to be 2 Savage Maces. So the Wingbow option has definitely lost its chance of being very effective. I don't know. I honestly don't know what you go for. You probably just go for all-out damage in this case, just level 4 Rift Shards. I mean, but I just don't see an item that's the obvious. I guess Behemoth Art still could be very powerful for him, but again, I think it's just at that point, unfortunately, though, where you are just too far behind no matter what you go for here.
Well, we'll see. There's definitely room for a comeback if tmsR just has some really, really big errors, but tmsR is really shown in this series that they're just not wanting to make those errors, and if they don't want to, they're not going to make those errors. Sitting back and playing this one relatively passive with the Token of Life on Monkey King and just taking their time, letting Boo Boo be the one that's at risk rather than putting any of the actual heroes themselves at risk. And just going to wait for the creeps to all move on up here, wait for the other lane to push in, and just take this one slow. I like the decision. And okay, that is a lot of damage on Boo Boo.
It's like 3 hits, 4 hits.
You're not going
and
anywhere.
4 hits, that's how low it's gone from Boo Boo. 5 hits, 6. Oh, no, frozen.
Cool
Nice
pose.
animation.
That was awesome.
That was actually pretty cool.
Can we get a pause there, please? Maybe a replay?
Replay of that. There's the Savage Mace being delivered as well, by the way, to Boo Boo. So now they have 2 Savage Maces over here.
Wow, this Monkey King is...
Savage Mace-eye.
He's very Super Saiyan right now.
He is Super Saiyan. That golden hair flowing. He's going to jump in the background, going Super Saiyan style. Here we go with Samrith using the illusions. He has 5,300 gold, by the way, not buying anything. Pestilence goes it right here to keep the force. Keep the force balls before he can get a single root off, let alone 2 roots right there. Samrith being locked down, then Tango proc onto him. Pestilence jumps back in. He will fall. He does have buyback, of course, but it's going to be GG here for tmsR. There you go. He buys back. He gets knocked to the Malphite, but again, it just doesn't matter. It's way too late. Pebbles is going to go down, and tmsR is going to be moving on here to the following round, more than likely, unless they just ult DC right now.
There's a possibility.
There is a possibility.
There it is. And
There you go.
well, that is going to do it for this series. Excellent. I mean, there was definitely hope for them in that second game. They played extremely well, actually forcing game number 3 right here. And then at the beginning of this one, I mean, having that really, really strong early start on Sandwraith, looking very, very good. But in the end, I mean, this Pestilence did some serious work when he picked up that portal key.
Yeah. Yeah, again, I stated there near the very end, I love Nox. He's a great carry player. He's one of the better ones around, no doubt. I mean, he had his great run with Q Squad and everything, playing for Excellent now, but I just really feel his item choices right there did not give his team the best chance to win. I mean, no doubt it was a difficult game, and he was doing what he could, you know, carrying his team around him. At the same time, I don't want to take away from tmsR.
Sure.
You know, we were interested to see what route Moomian was going to go on that Pestilence. I do like the... We went back. I went back and forth at least, unsure of exactly what he was going to go for. It did end up being the portal key in the end, and they did play that very well. He got the portal key. He got a kill right away with it. Played aggressive, and it did open up the farm for Wild Soul, for Monkey King to kind of recover, step in there, and pick up farm themselves, and allow them to be more of the impactful heroes in that later game stage in terms of damage presence at least. So
Definitely.
Well played by tmsR and deserving of that Game 3 victory there.
And we got to see a Pestilence.
Yeah, you know what we did, and that's one way to play it. You know, he can be played as that carry route, but that game just didn't call for it. So I like the initiating route that he chose, the ganking style route that he chose. That is one way to play that hero. And again, he did get buffs, and it definitely helped show right there.
Oh yeah,
in that game. So
would not be surprised to see that hero a lot more going forward.
Yeah, I really wouldn't. I really wouldn't, as expected when we talked about that patch. So that is going to do it for this series, though. So game number 3 again, going to